Hey everyone, this is Angus from Boss Fitness and welcome to another edition of Boss Babe Success Stories. Super excited to be here and I've also got the amazing Clare Wyatt with us. Mighty Claire, how are you doing today? What's happening?
Hello. Oh yeah, just hanging out at home.
Oh, that's the way to go. It's super cold at the moment, isn't it, with it winter?
Yeah,
Got to love it.
horrible.
Got to love it. I'm super excited to have you with us today, Claire. We're going to be, I guess, going into nice and deep in terms of your story and the amazing success that you've had through the Boss Fitness online physique coaching. Because you're someone who has had lots of ups and downs in terms of life throwing you some crazy curveballs, and you're someone who is also a shift worker. So for all of you ladies and stuff that are out there that may be doing FIFO or just have a bit of all over the shop routine and stuff like that, you're going to get some really nice gold nuggets and some inspiration from hearing within our chat with Claire today. So, mighty Claire, why don't you kick things off with, I guess, sharing with the ladies that are listening how things were before our paths crossed. So what were your frustrations? How were you going in terms of your health and fitness? What was happening?
So I started off going to the gym every day, and to me, eating healthy.
Yeah.
But it's sort of nothing was happening. It was just I was going to the gym for over an hour a day, and it was just no weight was moving. My body wasn't changing, and I just got really, really frustrated. But once I came across you, I realized that I probably wasn't eating enough.
Mm,
That I was probably putting my body into some kind of starvation mode,
mm.
and going to the gym for an hour a day, it wasn't effective, and it was just pretty much just wasting my time
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah.
the end of it. And the more that happened, the more that I was going to the gym for an hour every day, and to me, eating healthy, it just made my motivation less and less to keep going.
Mm.
Um, I guess that was most frustrating. But then once I came across you, it was sort of went, oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing it the wrong way.
That's it. Kind of just like a light bulb. Aha! Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's right.
yeah,
And your frustrations there, I was going to say, you're definitely not alone within that. Time and time again, I hear that people are lacking time. Because we've only got 24 hours in the day, don't we? But then when
yeah,
it comes to it, like so often people are just pouring out so many hours into their workouts and stuff, but hey, they're usually doing the wrong thing, or they're putting a lot of their focus towards cardio. And as you were saying just before as well, that when it came to your eating, yes, you thought you were eating pretty healthy, but one of the things you realised was, hey, well, I'm not eating enough. And
yeah,
that's often a thing that a lot of people get wrong in the fact that we're led to believe that, hey, for weight loss, we just need to, eat 1,200 calories or so a day or less, and the weight's going to drop and then it's going to be all hunky dory. But, as I'm sure you're experiencing, it's just like, oh, wow, well, I plateaued. What do I do now? Like, I'm still
yeah.
hungry. I don't want to drop my calories any lower. What on earth am
No,
I supposed to do? So, hence where you realise that there's a big difference between, weight loss and fat loss, which you're going to be talking some more about, later on in the chat. But
yeah.
cool. So we can see that you were definitely someone who was, stuck and frustrated. So how long would you say that you were in that sort of, I guess, state for with being, stuck in your efforts and trying to actually achieve success?
I reckon it had to have been a good 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, that I kept going, because obviously first off it worked,
Yeah.
having the lower calories and exercising, but then it just stopped, and it was kind of going backwards.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, and I was just stuck in this plateau of nothingness, and it
Nothingness. Yeah.
was really, really frustrating. Yeah.
Mm. So with that sort of happening to you, how was that having a ripple effect in other areas of your lives? Because yes, that would have caused built up, frustration, changing your mood and stuff maybe. But how do you think that was impacting other areas beyond just sort of the health that you were trying to change?
Well, I think especially with the lower calories, it affected social life stuff, because when you went to go out, you didn't want to go out to restaurants with friends because there was only certain things you could eat. You
Mm.
couldn't go and have drinks with friends because, alcohol high in calories, and you didn't want to have that because then you thought, oh, instead of an hour in the gym, I'm going to have to spend 2 hours in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, and you just become this gym junkie, and your friends would just think you're boring. So,
yeah. That's it.
um, yeah, social life definitely, because you just become like fixated on not having as many calories, and it was just stupid in the end. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So we can see that it
So
had a
yeah,
bit of a
that's
ripple
about it.
effect in there. And social life. Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, mm. So do you think that? if you continued going along that road solo, that things would be, the same, if not worse. Yeah.
I think if I'd kept going down that road, I probably would have given up.
Mm.
I would have just stopped, I think, because it was getting me nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
what we call the old throwing in the towel. So
Yeah.
pretty much just as you said, giving up or accepting that how things are going to stay. Yeah, I definitely was almost at that stage when I was, years back at my heaviest. So totally know what's that like.
Yeah.
But then with you, as you've sort of learned, is that many of us get caught in the trap of going along the path of weight loss. So we're led that we need to just heavily reduce the amount of food that we're eating, and that it needs to just be bland and boring food, or just eating super duper clean, cutting out this, that, and the other. And then often when, sort of results plateau, this is when we get into things like, some meal replacement shakes maybe, or different powders. Some people get into fat burners and things like that. But all this is really just doing is sort of just band-aiding what the underlying problem is. So I think what's been a massive thing for you, which we'll touch on some more in a sec, is I guess having that realization that, wow, fat loss is a different ballgame compared to, weight loss. Obviously with weight loss, people are focusing on, yes, just hitting a certain, weight on the scale, and they're fixated upon that. But then when it comes to fat loss, yes, it's cool that we drop some weight on the actual scale, but it's heavily focused on refining your body composition. So adding lean muscle mass to your frame, and then gradually losing the fat tissue around it so that we actually tighten and tone our body. And the cool thing is you realise is that you get to, eat more. Yeah.
Hey.
Which is absolutely amazing, because who doesn't like food? So why don't you share your experience first and foremost in that? So talking about, I guess what you've realised through nutrition and how that sort of changed things for you.
I think the big thing is that when I started, I'd had MYFITNESSPAL anyway.
Yeah.
But when I started using it with the carbs and the fats and the protein and putting all that in, I realised I was eating way more carbs than I should be.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good to realise, and it was good to be able to track it all. And even though I was tracking the calories and the carbs, I wasn't obsessing over eating, super healthy like I used to. Now I could just have, I knew that I could have, if I wanted a cinnamon donut one day, I could have it. There's no guilt in it. It's fine. You're allowed to have it. It's no big deal. Mm-hmm. Which is the best, or a spoonful of Nutella, which is awesome.
Which is even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the carbs was good, and especially eating more protein, and I don't know. It was just, I guess I feel less guilty about food now. I think that was a big one, the guilt about eating certain stuff.
Yeah.
Now I don't have it. I just usually just find, really flavor packed food, and I eat whatever I want. Obviously not Macca's every day, but pretty much whatever I want. And it still all works out fine.
Exactly, that's it, isn't it? So a massive shift in terms of, how you used to do things compared to how you do now. You mentioned that your social life was suffering in terms of you, just sort of not being bothered with it because you knew there would be so many things that you couldn't eat, and sort of just that sort of restriction mindset and way of doing it. How's that changed now? Like, you find that you're going out more, that you're drinking more regularly, things like that. Like, how are things different?
Well, I'm not a big drinker anyway, but if I want to go out, once or twice with friends, and I don't worry about it, I just go out and have a few drinks with them, and it's the guilt again. No guilt. You can have a few wines if you want, and it's no biggie. It's just, you just have a fun night and relax. Going to restaurants and stuff is much easier because you can just pick whatever you want.
Yeah, that's it.
And none of your friends think you're a weirdo for just eating, lettuce on a plate. So
that's it. That's powerful, isn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, going back to the key sort of point with you, with your job and what it is that you do, you go through, shift work. So, your hours aren't 9 to 5 and stuff like that. How do you find that through flexible nutrition, which is obviously what our, sort of key way of getting results from nutrition is? How do you find that that's worked in sync with that compared to, sort of where you were before, and just focusing on eating clean and whatever else? How do you find that flexible nutrition has worked for you in regards to, your sort of lifestyle through your work?
Well, before, sometimes I don't get a dinner break at work. So if I work till 10 p.m., I might not be eating dinner until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I used to feel bad for eating that late because, you read everywhere that it's not good to eat late at night, and you go to bed hungry, and then it's horrible to sleep. But now if I don't have a dinner break and I get to eat dinner at 10:30, then that's when I eat dinner. It's just, that's what I eat. I pre-pack all my meals, so everything's cooked. All my lunches and dinners for the week are cooked, one day during the week, and it's all packaged up. And that means I know that I'm not going to get any junk food. It'll just be my home cooked meal for whatever day, which makes it easier. But I don't feel guilty about eating late at night or early in the morning, or doesn't matter now.
That's it. So one of the other things that we're led to believe is that you can't eat carbs after 6, or that you need to sort of have your bigger meals in the morning, sort of like, when you've woken up, to sort of reboot your metabolism, and that it's really bad to eat, bigger meals at night time. So, one of the things that I teach is obviously, is what you've learnt, Claire, is that, meal timing and all that sort of stuff is sort of like irrelevant. There's no sort of real big, thing to it compared to someone who just eats whenever they like. So the idea is just to, as you've learnt, time your meals and eat them whenever you like. Just work it within your lifestyle. And, because that way enables you to be so much more consistent. It enables you to be able to, sort of just time it around when your busy sort of periods of the day are, and when you're working and stuff like that. And then as long as at the end of the day you've supplied your body with how much energy it actually needs to, trigger fat loss and nourish your muscles, you're going to get results, and hey, you're not going to feel stress, and everything's going to flow. But awesome, that's really cool, fantastic. So why don't you sort of share what have been some other positive impacts that have come from your sort of time with me? Yes, you've gotten some awesome results. We've seen your body tone up and gain so much strength and flexibility and stuff like that. What else has sort of come from that in terms of knowledge that you've gained, and just how you feel now compared to where you were before?
I think the major thing that I've learned is that I'm not stressing over what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Previously, I would worry quite a lot about it. I can't have that extra piece of bread, or I can't do this, or I better not have toast for breakfast. Like, I would nearly obsess over it. But now I'm just like, yep, toast with peanut butter for brekkie. Yeah. That's fine. Have a sandwich or a salad. That is a major one, I think, because I think I'd nearly think about it all day, about what I was going to eat, and now I don't.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not spending an hour in the gym every day. I think I probably do 40 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and that's really easy to fit in compared to previously, when I felt like I was there all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And getting nowhere. And it's just been easier. It's been no stress, so yeah, it's good. Which
is what you want, because when it's less stress, obviously it means that you can just be in your element. You feel so much more in control, and therefore you're able to flow through knowing the basics each day. And obviously through applying yourself and taking that consistent action, this is then where your body's responded positively, and therefore you've gotten the results that we set out to achieve in the first place. But you're sort of testament towards the power of fat loss. And for those listening at home, know that we did it without restricting her. In terms of, we didn't cut out all these sorts of foods. We didn't, just list times that she needed to eat. We didn't, most of the time her actual workouts were at home, so it meant that it was even easier for her to fit in. And obviously just the fact that through the accountability side of things, with her having to, take a few minutes to give account for her actions, and her nailing her basic tasks on a day-to-day basis, enabled her to really just gain so much more momentum within her actual effort that she was applying. And then, for both of us, we saw her body change before her eyes. But fantastic, Claire. So why don't we finish up with you sharing, I guess, a few words of wisdom, maybe, if you like, for those listening who are maybe feeling stuck and are out there going at it solo. Why don't you sort of share a couple of words, or a few words of encouragement for them, because obviously a lot of them will be able to relate to you from when you started. Why don't you share a couple of words in that regard?
Well, the main thing I'd say is count your calories, but don't stress over it. It's it's important, but if you feel guilty about it, then you're just going to obsess over it, and it's not a good way to start.
Yeah.
Get a trainer, because it does take a bit of the worry out of it, and they know the best way to handle it. And be positive. Because if you start looking at things, if you start thinking, oh, I've got to go to the gym again, then you're not going to enjoy it being in there. Where if you think, if I get it done, I'll feel better, I'll feel more energetic, and then it's done for the day, then you'll find that 45 minutes goes super quick, and before you know it, it's done. I think mainly staying positive and being consistent is the best thing.
Definitely, because then with those sort of things flow, it enables you to really just allow these new habits and stuff that you're building to actually form part of your lifestyle, and therefore you're able to sustain it, easily in the long term, which is really cool. Fantastic. So I was going to say, for those people listening, Claire, who are maybe feeling unsure as to if they should take the leap of faith to join my coaching specifically, because maybe they've been following Boss Fitness for a while, they're thinking about it. What would you like to share in that regard in terms of, I guess, the real positive impact that I've had upon you, so that these guys can relate and just go, all right, cool, that does it, I'm going to get in touch with Angus. Why don't you just share in that regard?
Well, you're super friendly. And you definitely don't give up on us. You make sure that we send through our macros every day and give the workout picture to make sure we've done our workout. You're very encouraging, and it's definitely changed my whole attitude to exercise and nutrition. Totally different. And when I try and explain it to people, when I explain what I've been doing, they just don't believe me that's how I've lost weight. So, I definitely recommend it. It's changed my whole attitude towards it.
Perfect. And we know it's going to be long lasting, which is what it's all about, because you've gotten to where you want to be a heck of a lot faster, and you're no longer stuck, and now you're in that consistent, empowered state. But amazing. Thanks so much for being open and honest with us today, Claire. It's been awesome to, I guess, uncover some of your struggles and stuff, but where we've turned them into wins, and how you've been able to move forward and achieve that success. So massive congratulations once again. Absolutely powerful stuff. So for those of you who are listening that are keen to know some more about online physique coaching, and to find out some more about what it's about, just get in touch with me. We'll organise a nice chat. And if anyone's keen to actually get in touch with Claire herself, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I hook you up with her actual Facebook URL. You guys can have a chat as well. She's a real person. She doesn't bite, and I'm sure she'd love to show some love as well. But amazing chat together, Claire. Once again, let's wave goodbye. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye.